Okay, now, when I saw this, I started to notice this among a lot of people who are not my students as well. I saw this in my young adult children. Around 2008, 2009, up to 2015 and around then, I started to see it as my children were growing up. I have 3 young adult children, 28, 26, and 23. My middle son, his name is Carlos, I would give all my kids this exam, and he couldn't cope with this exam any better than my students. I noticed that he was kind of a combination of boredom and depression, scrolling his phone, occupied by Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts, and whiling away his time waiting for something to happen. Perhaps that sounds familiar to some of you. Maybe your kids, maybe you. So what was happening here? A lot of people would look at young people today who are at loose ends, and they're angry, and they're activists, and they're turning against our culture, turning against our values, and they'll say, the problem is the culture war that's being inculcated by baby boomers and by corrupt politicians. Let me tell you the real problem behind this that was bothering my students, that's bothering some of your kids, that was bothering my son Carlos, that's bothering some of you. This has a biological explanation, my friends. And here it is. Many of you know the work of the great neuroscientist at Oxford, Ian McGilchrist, one of the great thinkers of our time. What his work has pointed out is all about something that we call in my field hemispheric lateralization. Fancy way of saying the brain has 2 hemispheres and they do different things. Let me tell you about the difference between the 2 hemispheres of the brain, and then I'll tell you how it affects the meaning of your life. Now, this is not obviously an actual picture of the human brain. This is a picture that's designed to illustrate a very important point. The left hemisphere of your brain is the part that deals with complicated problems of things and information. It's the how-to and what of life. It's what made it possible for you to get from your hotel to this conference. It's what makes it possible for you to figure out what to do all day, how to earn your living. It tells you almost anything technical. Now, the world is full of complicated problems. The engineers in life are occupied with solving complicated problems. That's what makes us competent and rich, is complicated problems in the left hemisphere of our brain. Now, that's different than the right hemisphere of the brain, which is dedicated to the complex problems. That's not the same thing. Complex problems are easy to understand and impossible to solve. Love, meaning, mystery, faith, those are complex problems dealt with in the right hemisphere of the brain, the why of life. Life needs both hemispheres. You need to know why you're doing things, and then you need to know how to do them. You need to know why you love the people that you do, and then you need to go out and figure out how to support your family. That's how the brain is supposed to work. Now, to give you an example of this, a left hemispheric problem in my life is my car. I own a car. I don't know how it works. I haven't the slightest idea. Perhaps I open up the hood on the car, you folks call it the bonnet, and it has, as far as I could tell, it could have an on-off switch inside. I haven't the slightest idea, but I could figure it out. I could watch YouTube videos or read a book or get a teacher, and I could figure out how my complicated car works. I could solve the problem. On the right side of my brain, I have other problems that matter a lot more to me. My marriage is a complex problem. I will never solve my marriage. I've been married happily 35 years, and it's still not solved. My wife is in Barcelona right now, and I talked to her before I came out, and she said, "Good luck in London." And she meant it. But when I'm done, I might call her, and she might be incredibly angry with me. I don't know. Now, to be sure, she is Spanish, and that's a complex problem in and of itself. But my point is this. That's why I love my marriage, and I don't love my car. Because I love complex things of love and meaning and hope and mystery. I don't love complicated things like information and stuff. Now, you know where I'm going with this, don't you? our life has been changed, and I started to see the effects of my meaning quiz in 2008 and 2009. What happened in 2008 and 2009? This happened in 2008 and 2009. When you look at your phone, which the average American does 205 times a day, you push your activity to the left hemisphere of your brain, away from mystery and meaning, and to information and things. We are living a left hemispheric existence, but we crave right hemispheric meaning, and it's ruining our lives. Now, most of us here, we're a little old. Not all of you. I see a few young folks here. But anybody my age, I remember the before times. My kids don't. My son Carlos didn't. He grew up with a small screen. So what's the result of that? What's the result of that if you grow up in it? The answer is this. You crave the right hemispheric experiences of love and meaning in your life, but all you get a left hemispheric simulation of that. That old movie, The Matrix, you remember that? Let me sadden you right now. That movie is 27 years old. The plot of that movie was science fiction, that an artificial intelligence subjugated humanity, used human energy, and kept people in a pleasant simulation so that they would be still and pliant. My friends, we're in the Matrix. Our kids are in the simulation. We're in the simulation, a left hemispheric simulation of a right hemisphere life. I ask my students, how did you spend your day? I woke up, my phone is my alarm clock. I scrolled my phone over breakfast. I went to work on Zoom. I dated on the apps. I saw my friends on social media. I watched YouTube shorts, and I went to bed. That is not a real life. Now, what's the problem with that? You know what you want in life. You have lots of things, good, but what you want is in real life love. What you want is deep faith in the transcendent, in the divine, in God, and that's absent in the 205 checks in the left hemisphere of your brain being pushed by your devices to the information and things of life. And what that does is that creates a formula for life. If you want to know the problem that young people have today, it's that they have a mistaken, a counterfeit formula for a good life. Here it is. The left hemisphere life, formula for happiness. Love things. Use people. Worship yourself. That's life online, my friends. And that is utterly bereft of meaning. When you take meaning out of people's lives, what do? They cry out. They want something more. They can't stand it. They're unhappy. And so they'll turn to anything offered to them as a source of meaning, whether it's healthy or not. I live on a college campus. I teach students all day long. You know what it's been like on college campuses. You regret the activism every bit as much as I do. This is what it looks like. That, my friends, is a search for meaning. We can denigrate young people as much as we want. We can denounce them for their ridiculous activism and outlandish views. But all we're doing is blaming the victim. Now, I get it. I don't like it. It's misguided. It's problematic. But we need to attack the root of the problem and not just the symptoms that we see in modern activism and anger today.